What's happening, folks, in YouTube land? Vince here, and I just thought I would do a little video to tell everybody about our new project car, which is right behind us. My old trusty 1987 Mazda RX7. I've had this car since about 2007, and it's got quite a story, like a lot of cars that I've had, but this thing here has been with me for longer than any other car I've ever had, and I've forgotten about it. I've tried to forget about it, but like the last 8 years it's been in my parents' barn, and as a few of you might know, we decided to sort of get out of the Honda game with endurance racing, and so we all sat around and thought, well, what's our next project going to be? We've got, you know, all this experience, you know, we've built a few cars. You know, I think we know how to set up a car and race and everything else. And so Wes and I were like, well, what are we going to do next? And so we had a lot of ideas. We talked about all kinds of crazy stuff, you know, going more race car, less race car. And, you know, part of us still wanted to stay with WRL, and we wanted to do all these things. And this car right here just kind of was always in the back of our minds. And so I finally decided a few weeks ago to go up to the old barn and grab it, and I thought I would sort of share the story of this car because it's pretty interesting. So anyway, so this is pretty much the car. Like I said, it's an 87 RX7, and I bought this car for $300, and it was in the woods, like sunk in a ditch. And it had been neglected for a really long time. And the story that I got from the guy I bought it from was he had planned on doing an LS swap to it, and of course lost interest. And the guy that he bought it from was going to put the body on a K5 Blazer and make this huge, you know, swamp buggy deal out of it. And so of course, you know, none of that came to fruition for all these guys. So I ended up with a car. Had no idea if it ran or knew really anything about it. So I got it home, put it up on jack stands, and put a little rigged up a fuel system, because the fuel tank had been taken out of the car. It was full of rust. There was the fuel pump obviously didn't work, and actually I wasn't smart enough to rig up a fuel system. I went and just had the fuel tank reconditioned, and I put a stock fuel pump in it, and put some ATF in the old engine, and spun it over with a good hot battery, and cranked it up, smoked up the whole neighborhood, and it ran like a sewing machine. And so then I put some more money with it, and I thought, well, hey, it runs. So we decided to basically replace all the brakes, all of the calipers had to be replaced, the master cylinder and sleigh for the clutch, as well as the master cylinder for the brakes. All of that was totally shot. And so I put it all back together and really kind of made a street car out of it. And it was actually really nice. There was a time when it was all white. It was a base model, 4-lug, you know, phone dial wheels, 195 tires, you know. It was peg legs, so you could do one-wheel burnouts. I mean, I even charged up the AC system in it, and the AC started working. And after a while, that was cool. I was like, what am I gonna do? Well, I'll sell the car, do I keep it? And about that time, that's when the track bug bit. And I basically got the crazy wild idea that I was gonna build it into a race car. And so at the time, I didn't make hardly anything for money. And but I was determined that I was going to make it into a race car. So at the time I was involved in the SCCA, and I was gonna start out autocross. That was kind of the ladder everybody started in. So I looked up ISC racing with Mike Van Steenberg, and I basically bought all his parts. So the Bilstein non-adjustable shocks, the linear rate springs, caster camber plates, his big oil cooler, you can see, you know, his dual pass radiator. I ended up doing a Series 5 intake swap on the car. I put a race and beat header on it. Put a really loud 3-inch exhaust. And then luckily I had a friend who had a convertible on these cars, and so that's why I decided to do the 5-lug swap, and I did the aluminum hood with the updated front fascia, the 4-piston calipers from the later model car. I did all that stuff. Put a 410 in it with a limited slip diff from the Series 5 and all that good jazz. So then I just started doing track days along with autocross, and then as time kind of went on, I decided that to move on to faster and way more expensive and way more, I guess, fun, if you will, cars. And it was great. But then I kind of lost interest because I got involved in all those other cars, and then I started doing the Honda stuff, front-wheel drive. As a few of you may know, I did Honda Challenge for several years with the RSX, and then I had a short stint with the black Integra with the JDM Type R, and really enjoyed my Honda roots. But a lot of people don't know that I kind of started off with rear-wheel drive. And so this thing's been a real blast of the past. But with all of us thinking about what we were going to do for the future, we just thought that this is the car. This is the car that we're going to build into the next race car, I think. Probably do some Champ Car racing, maybe do some WRL. I think we can make it nice enough to where WRL will allow the car. Shouldn't have any problem with that. But yeah, so we're excited. I'm excited to finally have some plans for the future, and we got a really cool engine swap for this car that I think a lot of people are going to really like, and we'll try to document that. I'm going to try to be a little more active with the series with YouTube. And one more thing. So this car has the original front windshield in it, and just to prove it to you, if you look right here, this sticker is an inspection sticker from Texas. So some of y'all from Texas might already know that. And you see the year says 7, but that's 1997. And if you look real close, you can see it says Mazda Motor Corporation, Nippon, which is basically the original windshield in the car. So it really is a true survivor car. I'll give you a little shot of the inside here. It's really moldy and really nasty because that's what happens when you let a car sit in an open air barn for 8 years. But basically all of this interior is going to get stripped out, and it'll get caged and all kinds of good fun stuff. And so we're really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Thanks.